Trelino from the Scottish Highlands. This time I'm going to be going to a part of the Highlands and visiting some places in my camper van that I've never been to before, but I've always been interested to visit. I'm also going to be sharing a bit more in this video about how I travel in a camper van in my home country of Scotland. I often get so many questions about where do I stay the night? What do I do for the toilet? Where do I have a shower? Where do I throw away my rubbish? Well, I'm going to be sharing more about that in this video today. I'm currently here in a place called Mallaig on Scotland's west coast, and the reason I came here is because there is a fantastic campervan service station. I will quickly show you what's here at the campervan service station. So this here is the Mallaig campervan service station. So inside are the showers for 4 minutes. It's £2, or you can pay £4 and get over 4 minutes. And then here on the right is the place where you can remove your toilet waste and then also fill up the fresh water. Over there in the distance is the Isle of Skye and some of the small isles. I think that's the Isle of Egg out there. Here in Mallaig there is a place that does amazing coffee and cakes. So I'm going to head there. A family friend that lives near here actually recommended it to me. I'm going to walk into the town of Mallaig now and show you what it's like. On the right side is the train. So if you catch the train to Mallaig, this is where you will disembark, and then the ferry terminal is really close by as well. So many seagulls. Mallaig is a small fishing village with a population of around 800 people. Once a major herring port, its economy today centres on fishing, tourism and ferry services. So much action going on here at the harbour. Cleaning. There's the ferry also, the one that goes out to Knoydart. I took that ferry last year on my way back from Knoydart. It's also the gateway to the small isles and the Isle of Skye, with many travellers catching ferries from its busy harbour. So the place I am looking for the coffee and cake is called Bloom and Graze, and I think it is up here. There's a line of people. That's maybe a good sign. Is this it here? There were so many yummy cakes and coffees to choose from, but I went for an oat milk iced latte, which is so good, and then also this one, which was recommended by the girl working there. It is the Kinder Slice. There were so many yummy tray bakes, it was so hard to choose which one to go for. I will enjoy these with this lovely view. The coffee and cake were so good. I usually make coffee in my van. I can make really good coffee, but sometimes it's really nice to treat yourself and have a yummy coffee made by someone else. I am going to leave Mallaig now and head to my first stop on my Scottish Highland road trip. This place is really popular. In recent years, the visitor numbers here have skyrocketed, and I read on a recent report that over 500,000 people visit this place annually. So it might be quite busy, but I think it might be worth it. I'll head there now. This is the road to the Isles, which runs between Fort William and Mallaig, though I'm taking it in the wrong direction, heading away from the Isles instead of towards them. The drive down that road was absolutely incredible. So many beautiful mountains. I have now arrived at the Glenfinnan Viaduct, and it is very busy here. I have pulled in to the car park. You need to pay £5 for parking, and I'm going to head over and take a look at the viaduct that was made famous in the Harry Potter films. So here is the parking. It is
So busy here. And the viaduct looks like it's over this way. Even though I am from Scotland, this is my first ever time stopping here. I've gone over the railway on a train when I took the train between Mallaig and Fort William, and I've driven past quite a few times, but let's see if it is worth the stop. Oh, there's a sign there saying no drones allowed. So there is the viaduct in the distance over there. Actually, I will take the path by the river. It looks quite nice over here. Wow, this is lovely. This is the river on the path on the way down to see the viaduct. So beautiful here. So here's some information about the viaduct. It is 380 metres long and 30 metres high with 21 arches. The Glenfinnan Viaduct was completed in 1901 as part of the West Highland Line and was one of the first major structures in the world built entirely from mass concrete. Designed by engineer Sir Robert McAlpine, it played a key role in improving rail access to remote Highland communities. It's also widely recognised for its appearance in the Harry Potter films, where the Jacobite steam train crosses it en route to Hogwarts. I find it quite fascinating that a movie like Harry Potter can really transform a place like this and turn it into a major tourist destination. In Scotland, there are more viaducts like this, and some of them are in use, some of them aren't, but it's incredible how popular this one has become just because of the movie. Up there on the hill is the main viewpoint to see over the viaduct. Can you see all the people up there? I'm going to walk up to the viewpoint just up there because I want to see what all those people are waiting for. Is that the best view of the Glenfinnan Viaduct? From the viewpoint up here, this is what you can see. So the view is much better from this side. Perfect spot for watching the train go over, I think. This is about a 15 or 20 minute walk from the car park. I checked the train times and the steam train passes over here 4 times a day. The next one is due in around 45 minutes. I'm not going to wait for it because there's more places that I want to visit, but if you want to see the train coming over, you can check online for the times. I think it would be a fantastic sight to see. I am just heading back to the car park now, but oh my goodness, look at how many people are arriving for the train, which will be passing in 45 minutes. This is unbelievable. I wonder how many coaches of people. Just nearby the parking area for the Glenfinnan Viaduct is also the Glenfinnan Monument. I'll check that out before I hit the road. I have made it down to the Glenfinnan Monument. It's located here on the banks of Loch Shiel. Loch Shiel is a really long and narrow freshwater loch. It is 28 kilometres long. The Glenfinnan Monument was built in 1815 to honour the Highlanders who supported the Jacobite cause, a series of uprisings in the 17th and 18th centuries aimed at restoring the Stuart royal family to the British throne. In 1745, Prince Charles Edward Stuart, known as Bonnie Prince Charlie, came to Glenfinnan and raised his flag to begin a rebellion against the ruling government. The monument marks the spot where this dramatic moment in Scottish history began, with a statue of a lone Highlander looking out over Loch Shiel. along the banks of Loch Shiel here, people have come down and are having some coffee or a picnic and admiring these Scottish views. So I spent so long over at the loch that actually there's only 10 minutes before the steam train comes over the Glenfinnan Viaduct. So I've come here to watch it go over. I think the view from that side is definitely better, but it's quite a walk and a hike to get there. So if you just want to do a shorter hike from the car park, I think this is the best place to come. This is the Jacobite train, a heritage steam service running between Fort William and Mallaig, often called one of the world's most scenic railway journeys. It crosses the Glenfinnan Viaduct and winds through dramatic Highland scenery, past lochs, mountains and stretches of wild coastline. You might recognise it as the Hogwarts Express. I made it back to the van. It is mayhem here with everyone leaving, but it was so good. I am so glad I managed to see the steam train crossing over. It was so exciting waiting for it to arrive, and it actually turned up 10 minutes late. Classic Scottish train times. But everyone was just standing there in silence, in awe, watching the train go over. I really didn't have great expectations for Glenfinnan Viaduct, but I really enjoyed my time here. I thought I would just pop in, spend maybe 30 minutes here, but I think I've been here for about 3 hours, wandering around all the trails, going down to the loch. Highly recommend you to pay a visit to Glenfinnan Viaduct. It is very busy, it is very touristy, but I think it's worth it. Before we continue on exploring the Scottish Highlands, I'd like to talk about storage in my campervan. Storage space in a campervan is quite limited, so to make the most of the space, I like to compress down items. And to do that, I've been using this travel vacuum kit from Exeter. It comes with this vacuum travel bag and also this small rechargeable pump, which is really compact and easy to use. I don't often dress very fancy when I make these YouTube videos, but I do like to bring some nice clothes with me when I'm in the van in case I end up meeting up with friends for drinks or going out in cities. And I like to store those clothes inside the travel vacuum kit to keep them out of the way. It can hold up to 15 items of clothing. It's also really great for storing big jumpers or hoodies like this because they tend to be so bulky and take up a lot of space in the van. Having the travel vacuum kit keeps my clothes neat, saves space, and also prevents my storage areas from becoming overstuffed. I also recently visited Ireland and took hand luggage with me, and I was able to bring way more clothes than usual in hand luggage because I used the travel vacuum kit from Exeter. Exeter are also well known for their travel wallets. They're slim, stylish, and my favourite feature about them is the tracker card, because if your wallet ever goes missing, you can actually find it again. So if you're looking to pack and travel smarter, whether that's for van life, everyday life, or for trips that you take, now's the perfect time to try out Exeter. Their 4th of July sale is running until the 17th of July with up to 44% off site-wide. And if you use the code RUTH at checkout, you can get a further 10% off. You can head to the link in my video description to take a look. In search of a quieter path, I decided to venture west. As I was driving, I heard the train and I pulled in. And it's coming here, look, look, look. Oh my gosh, that was such good timing. Wow, I just pulled into a lay-by and it was the perfect timing. While driving, I saw a sign for a smokehouse, so I decided to stop in. This here is the smokehouse, and I think they sell smoked salmon in here.
Hello, my name is Christoph. I'm actually from Germany and I run the Achilla Smokehouse here in Glencoe. The Achilla Smokehouse is a traditional smokehouse. So what does it mean? It means that we do everything by hand here. We don't use any fancy machines. Our main products are smoked salmon, and we have smoked trout, we have smoked haggis, smoked duck breast, smoked black pudding, bacon, and we have smoked cheeses as well. We use shavings from old whiskey barrels for smoking, which is actually oak. And yeah, everything is done by hand. So I slice every slice of salmon myself. So yeah, if you want and come and see what we're doing, just come along and we're happy to greet you here.
Do you know if there's a parking place here to see the beach?
Yeah, there's parking.
Is that the beach? Okay, yeah, okay.
Alright.
Okay, good, thanks. It was so interesting to stop in at the smokehouse and learn about how they're smoking the fish and the different things in there. They use the whiskey barrel shavings from Speyside Cooperage, which I visited in another video. And I got a little bag of things to have a picnic here. This beach is called Sama Laman Bay. Here is what I got from the smokehouse. So smoked salmon, they said, is their speciality, so I picked up that one. I also wanted to try one of their smoked cheeses. They said cheddar was the best seller, so that's the one I got. I also got some poacher's pickle. This is actually from down my way in southern Scotland, from the Galloway Lodge. And I also got this smoked salmon patty, which looks delicious as well. If you're in this area, you definitely need to stop in and pick up some of the local produce from the area. I actually picked up some capers in the supermarket the other day, so I'm going to have some of these with the smoked salmon. I absolutely love capers, they're so delicious. The whiskey infused smoked salmon. Let's give it a go. Wow, so yummy. Was a wonderful little picnic pit stop. Before I head to the next place, I'm quickly going to explain about how I deal with the toilet in the camper van. So I'm often asked about the toilet. So this is the toilet I have here in my camper van. It's a Trelino toilet. It's a German company, and this is a separating toilet. So this is clean after cleaning out this morning, but it has an area for the number ones and in the back an area for the number twos. It's such a good toilet. I've been using it for about 2 years, I think, and they recently brought out a urine level checker. So this basically indicates how full the urine level tank is, because before you couldn't see, but now with the urine level indicator you can see how much is in there, and it lets you know if you need to empty it. So when the urine is full, this one here will raise up like this, so it indicates that you need to empty it. Trelino also came out with a new litter recently, which is absolutely great. I'll also put the link for it below. I've made 2 full videos all about the Trelino toilet, including a 1-year review, and it shares lots of useful information. So I will link that in the video description, and I'll also link the Trelino toilet that I have, because I always get questions. This is the small Evo in the grey colour. While I'm on the topic of toilets, I'd like to mention a little bit about toilets and campervanning in Scotland. So in Scotland, there is sometimes some dislike towards campervans, and one of the reasons is because people are not being responsible when they go to the toilet. So it is not nice to go somewhere, stay the night, go into the bushes, do the toilet, and then leave all the toilet roll also there. And this happens so often. It makes me so upset to see the beautiful Scottish countryside and landscapes basically destroyed by human waste. And having a toilet in your camper van, I feel, is a very responsible thing to do. I understand if people want to go outside, they go and dig a hole and they follow the instructions from the Mountain Association on what to do when going to the toilet. But more often than not, people are not following those instructions. I really urge anyone who is travelling by campervan to please not use the beautiful Scottish countryside as a toilet. Perhaps the toilet I have is more on the upper end of toilets because it's well designed, it's made in Germany. There are different solutions for toilets. I had one before I got this toilet and they're much cheaper and much more affordable. So if you come to Scotland and do a campervan trip, my only ask is that you please respect the countryside. Even Scottish people, everyone that comes here and does a campervan trip and travels around, please don't destroy the lovely Scottish countryside. That's what we're all here to enjoy. And we want to continue enjoying it forever, forever. I was driving along and I saw a little honesty box here, so let's see what there is. Oh my gosh, amazing. Wow, so there's cookies, granola, wow, gingerbread, focaccia, sourdough, there's books. Oh, there's coffee as well down there too. Oh my goodness, this is amazing. This is the most exciting honesty box I've ever come across. What a selection. I think I'm going to go for some granola. That looks really good. I ended up going for the granola. This was £5. Homemade granola. It looks absolutely amazing. So many good things. I think this is the best honesty box I have ever seen, but the card payment wouldn't go through because there's no signal here, but luckily I had a £5 note that I was able to put inside. I have driven down some beautiful roads near the Ardnamurchan Peninsula to a place called Ard Toll, and here there is a campsite that I found on Park for Night. It's quite a basic campsite. It's £10 to stay here with electricity. There is a portable toilet, there is tap water, and there are bins. There's no shower here, but there is a lovely beach. I'm going to go and have a little look. So I think the tide is in at the moment. This is high tide. Wow, what a beautiful beach. It's so clear. It's gorgeous here. At the campsite, there is another beach here. Wow, this is lovely. Oh, proper sandy beach. This is actually much nicer than the other one. The other one's quite rocky. Looks like there might be a seal or an otter in the water over there. Maybe it's just a rock. This is lovely. Just near the campsite, you can take a little path and there are more beaches to discover. This is my favourite one, the third one. That water is so cold. I'm not going to go in swimming because there is animal waste on the shore here, like sheep poo or cow poo or something. So I'm not going to go in swimming. Because I had a lot of the smoked salmon for lunch, I'm going to have something different for dinner. I'm going to have the granola. So this is yogurt with a lot of fruit and granola. I've also
lit my midgie candle because there were a few midges earlier. This really works. I got this when I was on the Isle of Mull. Smells really good, and I think it definitely does keep the midges away. Time to try the granola. This looks so good. Wow. Very yummy. Almost tastes like there's something sweet in there. Maybe chocolate or something. It is really good. This campsite is great. It's not even on Google Maps. I think I came across it on Park for Night. The app for Park for Night is really good for finding campsites. And then I wandered along, checked what the price was. It's great. I really enjoyed my stay here at the Ardtoe campsite, and I'm going to continue exploring more of the Scottish Highlands, and I'm going to head to an area called the Morven Peninsula. This is a place I've wanted to go for quite a long time. I saw it in the distance when I was on the Isle of Mull last year, and it looks really mountainous and really impressive, so that's where I'm going to be heading. I was just having a chat with the campsite owner, and she said that there's a fantastic bakery en route to the Morven Peninsula, so if it's open, I'll make sure to stop in there.
Not far from here is Castle Cheerham, located on a tidal island. It's well worth a visit if you're in the area. This is the East to West Bakery, in a village which is very hard to pronounce. I think it might be a Harricle. If not, I'm sure the pronunciation police will be after me in the comments section.
So here are my items from the cafe. So I got a breakfast roll. This is tatty scone, fried egg and haggis with some tomato ketchup. This is veggie haggis. I also got a flat white, as this was recommended to me by the lady at the cafe. It is very good. And I also got a Bakewell flapjack. So I'm going to try the breakfast roll. If you come to Scotland, I highly recommend having a breakfast roll. They are so good. And if you order one, you have to put a tatty scone inside. It is a criminal offence if you don't. Tatty scones are just incredible. Incredible, up there with the best Scottish food. So good. Okay, let's give it a try. Oh, so yummy. If you're passing this area, make sure you stop in here. It's called the East to West Bakery, and I have actually driven past it before and I didn't know it was here because the sign is quite small outside. So make sure you pin this on your Google Maps if you're going to be in this area. Highly recommend. And the flat white is exceptional. Make sure you order this as well if you like coffee. So good.
I continued my drive towards the Morven Peninsula, passing by the turnoff for the Ardnamurchan Peninsula, which is another lovely area of Scotland to explore. The Morven Peninsula is a remote and sparsely populated area on Scotland's west coast, with around 320 residents. It's known for its rugged landscapes, ancient woodlands, and quiet single-track roads. It's a peaceful alternative to more tourist-heavy parts of the Highlands.
I have now taken the turn onto the Morven Peninsula, and it is very beautiful. I've stopped here to have a look at the views, and there is a very strong smell of seaweed. I feel like in this area here behind me, this is prime otter territory. The name of this peninsula, I was a little bit confused about how to pronounce it because there is an R in the name, Morven, but there is a name in Scotland and it's usually a girl's name, Morven. So I was getting mixed up with the girl's name, but I just double checked and it has got an R. So I think it's pronounced the Morven Peninsula. Now, let's continue on and explore more of this area. I have been driving along so far and made a little stop
and it is really hilly, and my campervan is really struggling to get up the hills. So I was in second gear and it was only able to go 20 miles per hour, but thank goodness there's so many passing places. It's all single track roads, so if a car is coming behind, I'm just pulling in straight away and letting them pass. They must be thinking, how slow is this campervan going at 20 miles per hour up the hills? It is really beautiful here. It feels so wild. Hardly any cars, hardly anyone here. Amazing. Here is the sign to Loch Allen. So this is the main village on the Morvern Peninsula. So I'll be heading there. I have parked up my campervan at my first stop, which is the walk to an abandoned village. To get to this point here on the Morvern Peninsula, there was a lot of driving, but not that many places to stop. It's mostly single track roads, but the views are extremely beautiful. There are so many midges here, so I'm going to get started on the walk. Here is the information board at the start of the walk. It looks like there is a loop walk here, and it will take around 1 hour and 45 minutes. My first impressions of this walk is the amount of trees. It is so green. The green colour is so bright. It's almost blinding my eyes. It's amazing to see so many trees because obviously in so many parts of Scotland, the hillsides are bare, they're bald, all the trees are gone. It's lovely to see all these trees here. So I've reached the point where the path splits, so you can take James's path or Mary's path. So I think I will go one route and come back the other. Let's go with Mary's route. I have made it to the point where the paths join together again and then also split to go to the abandoned village. It has started raining, but it's quite nice. It's light rain, quite refreshing, but I need to put on my waterproofs now. Started raining quite heavily now. Oh, I think I've arrived at the abandoned village though. I might take some shelter under these trees until the rain passes through. That's better. The weather is pretty wild here, but I'm going to go down and enter the village. Woo! It is ferocious, this wind. Okay, when you are travelling in the Scottish Highlands, you may come across these abandoned houses. They're usually made of stone. They no longer have roofs, and usually the older the houses are, the less of the house that is left. The reason that these houses are here generally is because of something called the Highland clearances. And the Highland clearances is probably what's most well known, but these clearances happened all over Scotland, also in the lowlands and on Scottish islands as well. And what the clearances involved was people lived on this land here and in many other parts of Scotland. They would have lived here in generations for probably over hundreds of years, and the landowners realised that they could make more money from the land by removing the people and replacing them, generally with sheep. They were seen as being more profitable, either for the wool or for the meat. In some situations, it wasn't sheep, it was deer that were introduced, and they were hunted, and these were seen as sporting estates. The people that lived in these villages were sometimes sent on boats to go to the USA, to Canada, sometimes Australia or New Zealand, and in other cases, they went to the cities to work in the industrialisation of Glasgow, in shipbuilding. Let's go down and explore the abandoned village. Being here in the rain, it really adds to the sense of isolation of this place. Living here in the mountains, in this valley, over 200 years ago. Oh wow, down here there's a little stream. I can imagine the people coming down here to get drinking water, wash their clothes, wash their bodies. It's actually so beautiful here. My goodness, look at that view. Innemore was a crofting township forcibly cleared in 1824 by landowner Christina Stewart to make way for sheep grazing. It was originally home to around 15 families, with around 20 stone buildings, including homes, corn drying kilns, barns and vegetable gardens. The village was hidden beneath forest growth until the 1990s, and the remains were uncovered by Forestry Commission Scotland. Today, two interpretive trails, Mary's Path and James's Path, trace the evictions and share family histories, notably that of Mary Cameron, who recalled watching her home burn as she was carried away by her husband. This abandoned village feels quite eerie, to be honest. I keep looking around and catching a tree stump or something in the corner of my eye, and I keep thinking it's a person, and it's just a tree stump. It feels weird here. And this here is the remains of someone's house. Someone used to live in this house, and it's so sad what happened with the Highland clearances. And I've mentioned before in other videos that I never learnt about this at school in Scotland, and many of you who also went to school in Scotland mentioned about the fact you never learnt about the clearances either. It really seems to depend on the teacher or the school that you go to in Scotland. The clearances is a big part of Scottish history, and I think it's very important that all Scottish people, and if you're visiting, you also know the reason for these abandoned buildings scattered throughout Scotland. It is starting to rain again and not really enjoying the weird feeling here, so I'm going to head on to the next place. I've made it to the main town here on the Morvan Peninsula. It's called Loch Allen, and there is a ferry from here over to the Isle of Mull, and it looks like the ferry's just arriving now. I decided to go for a little walk just to see the harbour. I wasn't sure if the van would fit on the road, so I set off by foot, and I've come across an old mine, and it is so cold. The cold air that is coming out of the mine is freezing. I don't know if you can see the steam in my breath. The Loch Allen mine is the only underground silica sand mine in the UK and Europe, producing ultra-pure quartz sand. It opened in 1940 during World War II to supply glass for periscopes and gun sights, and operates via a network of tunnels. Around 100,000 to 140,000 tonnes of sand are extracted annually. I got speaking to a man that works in the mines, and he said that the mine employs about 40 people in this local area, and people travel over from Mull as well and some other places, and all the sand, he said, gets put onto the boat and then goes to Liverpool. It's a hub or hive of activity here. This is not what I expected. I thought I was walking down to see a cute little fishing village, but wow, this is a huge operation. I'm walking on this very soft sand here. I wonder if this is the sand that they're mining. And it is basically this soft sand that is underfoot. I don't think I've ever seen a mine in operation like this before. This is so interesting. Wow, look at the colour of the water here. That is beautiful. if you go for a wander, you never know what you might find. There is the marina over there, quite a nice calm place to come. Now, I was reading that there is a sauna here. I don't know if that is true. Let's have a look. Ah, here is the outdoor sauna. What a great location. Looks like there's a plunge pool beside it, and then on the right you can jump into the sea here. Oh, it's got a glass front on it. That would be so good because you can look out at the view. Here are the prices. So £10 for Morven residents, £15 for visitors, or you can do the private hire. Open from 1 until 6 p.m. I've just made it back round, and the ferry has gone over to Mull and also come back again in the time that I went for a walk. It must be a really short crossing. I was also speaking to some people on the walk, and they said that the social club is very lively. So let's have a look in here and see what's going on. So the Loch Allen Social Club is an extremely friendly place. Everyone was so welcoming, and I ended up meeting some people from my village who are friends with my mum, and we also have mutual friends. So random. So I ended up staying for about an hour in there, and I had a pizza for my dinner. Some of the people there were telling me there's lots of otters around here, so I'm going to head along the coast a little bit more, see more of this peninsula, and see if I can find any otters. I have been driving along the southern side of the Morven Peninsula, and the weather has turned out really nice compared to earlier when it was pouring with rain when I was at the abandoned village. You can get splendid views over to the Isle of Mull. It is so clear, and you can make out all the mountains on the Isle of Mull in the distance. The place I've stopped at now is one of the sights to see here on the southern side of the Morven Peninsula, and it's called the Wishing Stone. This behind me here is the Wishing Stone. It is seriously big. What's really interesting about this is that in the past it was used to divide the lands between the Picts and the Scots, and more recently it was also used to divide the parishes here on the Morven Peninsula. However, these days the parishes have been combined together. I find it fascinating that this was formed naturally. With all the holes and the different pieces of rock, it looks a bit like a painting or a piece of art rather than a rock. There are some places you go and they feel really special, and I think this is one of them for me. This feels like nature's artwork, and then it's facing out towards the hills there on the Isle of Mull. I have made it to the very end of the road. This place is called Drummin, and from here you can catch a small passenger ferry over to the Isle of Mull, and I can see Tobermory in the distance as well. It was really fun to drive along this road, and I saw some deer as I was approaching the village here. The reason I came all the way to the end of this road is because there is a distillery located here. It is a female-founded whisky distillery called Glenfinnan. That will be my next stop. Glenfinnan is an independent organic whisky distillery founded by Annabel Thomas on the Drummin estate. They began producing single malt whisky in 2017. Known for its strong commitment to sustainability, it uses only organic Scottish barley, runs entirely on renewable energy, and bottles its whisky in 100% recycled glass. Glenfinnan is B Corp certified and diverts 99.97% of its waste from landfill. In 2021, it became the first UK whisky distillery to be verified as net zero for carbon emissions under Scope 1 and 2. The distillery tour cost £20 and it was the first distillery tour I've ever done that included cake as well as whisky. This has been such a fun trip exploring some new parts of the Scottish Highlands. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.